been asked to solve where 2x squared minus 3x plus 5. And we've been asked to solve this using a calculator and the quadratic formula. So I need to stop using my pencil and paper right now, and I need to come over here to my calculator, and I need to tell it A, B, and C. So here in this example, A is 2, so I'm going to type in the number 2, and then I'm going to store, so control, store, as A. Then I'm going to go to my B value, which is negative 3, and store that as the letter B. Then I'm going to go to my C value, which is 5, and store that as C. Now my calculator knows A, B, and C, so I'm ready to type in my quadratic formula. I'm going to start out with my parentheses for the numerator, and then add in another set to say negative B. The calculator will turn bold, letting you know, okay, we got this right. So you have negative B. Now we're going to try plus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c. Now that's done with my numerator, so I'm going to scroll on out to this big parenthesis and close that up. And then I need to divide all of that numerator. So I'm going to open up another parenthesis by 2 times a. Okay. So this is the positive version of the formula. In a second, we're going to have to go back and redo on the negative. So it's b plus or minus the square root of all that. So let's get started. We'll push enter. And on our calculator, it tells us this is not real. In other words, we're taking the square root of a negative number. So underneath our discriminant, we're going to have to hit OK here and accept that this is a non-real calculation. Just to make sure, you can always check your formula. And it looks like I've done everything correctly. So on this part, I'm going to actually have to go back to my problem. And I'm going to use the opposite of b. So the opposite of b is the opposite of negative 3, which is positive 3. So 3 plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2 times a. And now we can simplify. Negative 3 squared is 9. 4 times 5 is 20, so this is 22. So 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 minus 22. And then 2 times 2 is 4. Three plus or minus the square root of 9 minus 40, all over 4. And this situation right here is exactly where you can see the discriminant is negative. So for sure, it's going to get us into an imaginary solution. 9 minus 40 is negative 31. And the factors of 31 are 1 and 31. And then we, of course, know what this square root of negative 1 is now. So to be more specific, 3 plus or minus the square root of negative 1 times the square root of 31, all divided by 4. The square root of negative 1 is I. So our final answer will just be x equals 3 plus or minus I square roots of 31. all over.